What's up, you guys? Welcome back to WideBody Nation. This is everything you need to know about my 2021 Dodge Charger SRT Hellcat REDEYE widebody being stolen on April 10th of 2021. It is currently May 25th of 2021, so it's been about 6 weeks. There has been a lot that has happened since then. Obviously, insurance has been involved, the police have been involved, and many more aspects have been involved. So this is the roll-up video that kind of touches on literally everything, with subsequent videos after. We'll do a nitpicky video on insurance, we'll do a nitpicky video on dealing with the police, we'll do a nitpicky video on dealing with trackers and prevention and everything. But this is kind of the one-stop shop video for then you to use to branch off for your particular situation, should you be trying to prevent your Mopar from being stolen, or if you are dealing with a stolen vehicle. Because I have a bunch of people who have contacted me since mine was stolen because they saw my posts and my videos about mine being stolen. So a quick synopsis of what happened on the day of. We will use Instagram to go ahead and document, or shouldn't say document, but to go ahead and kind of, let's just say, keep this thing in chronological order. So me and my friend drove 700 miles west from Georgia to Dallas to go ahead to Gap Fest, where, Demonology was racing Donkmaster. He went ahead and beat Donkmaster at that particular time. Congrats, Demonology, and all your fans and support. Now, I brought both the Redeye, the freshly wrapped Redeye, and the C8 out there with my good friend Chris from Maryland, one of my favorite, my best friends. He's been like one of my original car friends. So it was great. Me and him did the road trip together with the C8, the Charger. The Charger was just such a great road trip car because it was just so comfy. That SRT red leather, amazing on road trips. So we got out there. We had a nice hotel. Because we were going to so many different events. We were going to the racetrack. We were going to all these YouTuber things. We did not do valet, which, hindsight 2020, maybe doing valet parking with an enclosed area. That's one of the things you guys can look into. But I digress. Again, we'll get into those in subsequent videos. Me and Chris parked in a well-lit parking lot directly across from the Hall Arts Hotel in downtown Dallas. Now, I thought that was a pretty decent area, but I guess the area doesn't really matter these days with social media and the thieves that we're dealing with now. So as you guys may or may not know, this is the picture from the security camera that we saw the morning after, when the thieves kind of canvassed the area and then stole the car. Now, how did they steal the car? They basically, and a lot of people think it's all electronic, like people are cloning keys, people are doing all sorts of fugazi electrical shenanigans. In my case, what they did, and this has been proven by another video I'm going to show you, with which another Hellcat was stolen just a day or two ago. They simply break into your car mechanically, whether that's breaking the window or kind of like jimmying, shimming the window. There's a bunch of different street terms for it, but they gain access to your car physically, breaking the window, prying the door open, prying the window open. They open the door. They disconnect the battery so the alarm will stop going off. And then they do this, which is, in my opinion, the worst thing that Dodge has not fixed on their cars for security. Because everybody keeps talking about kill switches and, the security update for valet mode or 2 horsepower mode or whatever. But none of those electronic solutions solve this. The problem is, on every Charger and Challenger, I apologize for these pictures, they're kind of grainy, but it's because I have to have people send them to me because I no longer have mine. On every Charger and Challenger that is a current model, they have this, in my opinion, unnecessary neutral lever. All you do is pull up your cup holder. Here is another version of kind of what it looks like. I mean, you guys have been in a Charger before, so you guys know Charger, Challenger. It's the same thing basically. You pull up your coin holder slot, and there lies, well, this is with the covering on it, which we will get to. They pull up your coin holder, or they rip the whole center console off, and they pull this lever, and boom, your car is in neutral. And because these cars have manual parking brakes, it doesn't matter that you had a parking brake on either. Like, so some cars with electronic parking brakes, if you disconnect the battery, that may or may not mess with the parking brake, which is just kind of another form of deterrence. Again, another video for that. They pulled this lever for my car and for other cars that have been stolen since then, especially in Dallas. Dallas is one of the hottest places for stolen Mopars, anecdotally, obviously. They pull this lever, and then they proceed to push your car away. Now, basically, they push your car out into an area where they can maneuver a tow truck, usually a flatbed or whatever they need to do. They maneuver a tow truck, and they push your car right up onto a tow truck. If you don't believe me, check out this video. All right. This is currently my story right now because a gentleman sent this to me. I'll tag him down below in the description. This is what they do. So, this is in a parking garage too. This is in a gated parking deck in Dallas. These thieves used a presumably stolen vehicle, allegedly, perhaps, just an opinion, not alleging anything technically, just from what I understand. They used this vehicle. It has no license plate on it, so obviously it's up to no good. They go to the parking deck. They force entry into this vehicle, which, side note, a lot of times they break your rear windows because I think the chance of the alarm going off is much less when you break a rear window as opposed to a front. That's just, again, that's anecdotal. That's my opinion. That's not a fact or anything like that. So this thief is trying to get this parking area open. They are pushing the vehicle with this, but they said, hey, F it. We're just going to push through right here. And boom, they actually broke the parking decks, the parking garage's gate, because they just said, hey, we're going. So, with that being said, obviously, when you discover your car is stolen, like I discovered that mine was stolen, you need to contact the police. Now, there are going to be some obvious things you need to do and some maybe not so obvious things you need to do, because I'm going to show you in a second, but there are some things that if you follow what Dodge wants you to do, you're going to lose the ability to try to find your car, which may or may not be a good thing. And this is just my opinion. So, however you guys go about it, that is your deal. That's your liability. It is not mine. This is just my opinion. I'm kind of storytelling from my opinion right now. When your car is stolen, obviously you need to contact the police, because assuming you have full coverage insurance on your car, whether it doesn't really matter about your deductible, how big that is, because you're going to have to pay that, right? But you need to, in order to actually talk to your insurance company, you will certainly need a police report, in my opinion. But, I mean, let's be honest, how could you report your car stolen to an insurance company and expect them to believe you if you didn't report it to the police? So, anyway, I filed the police report the morning of because I walked out after breakfast and noticed that obviously my big 800 horsepower Charger was not parked at the C8 next to the C8 anymore. With that being said, the police file a stolen vehicle report. Obviously, they take down your license plate, your VIN, your name, all the license, all that good stuff. At that point, you have some options as far as what you do with your tracking devices. Now, I unfortunately have had a tracking device that I ordered sent to me like a day or two before we went to this meet. So I did not have time to install it at the dealership because we were literally 1 foot out the door to that car meet. So, the irony is real on that. Now, with Mopars, you have another option, and it is, as you guys know, Uconnect. Now, the problem is when you contact Uconnect, instead of your Uconnect looking like it normally does, which this is my old car, your Uconnect normally looks like this. It normally looks like a car. You get the unlock, the lock feature, you have the location feature, right? You have all that action. When you report your car stolen to Uconnect, they disable your app. It looks like this. And your app is now worthless. Now, their logic is that they don't want you searching for the location. This is just my opinion. They don't want you searching for the location of your car and then going and try to repossess your car yourself. Obviously, they want to keep it all on their side. They want to talk directly to the police, coordinate with them, and then go do whatever they need to do because they think it's safer, they think it's more legal, all of these other things. Again, my opinion, I'm not suggesting that you do or do not do anything. I'm just letting you know that if you call Uconnect after you file your police report, because Uconnect does need a police report number to track your car, at least in my experience. As soon as you report your car stolen to them, your Uconnect app is going to become worthless to you. Now, is Uconnect good at tracking the car? In my experience, no. Uconnect for me did not find the car, did not give me any updates. If I wanted any information, I had to call them. So, just something that you guys might want to consider, or not, before you go ahead and quickly call them like I did right after I filed a police report, because I tried to search for my car's location and it wasn't working. So I was like, whatever, I'll call Uconnect. And then they got the police report number, and then boom, my app didn't work anymore. So that was frustrating in some ways. Okay, let's keep this thing moving. So after you go ahead and file your police report, after you go ahead and file, this is the Uconnect website, we'll keep that on here for a second. After you go ahead and file your police report and contact Uconnect or not, or your tracking company, if you have a third-party tracking company, all of those things, you obviously need to talk to your insurance company within a reasonable amount of time. I don't know if there's like a statute. It probably varies by insurance company, but like if your car is stolen or believed to be stolen and you report it to the police, you logically would have to report it to your insurance company, which is in your best interest because I look at it kind of in a weird way, because once your car is stolen, especially a car like a SCAT Pack or a Hellcat, do you want it back? Maybe, maybe not. My 2018 Daytona Charger was stolen, and lucky for me, I had the tracking device, the secondary tracking device on it. Uconnect did not do anything. My secondary tracking device, the Mopar EVTS, the electronic vehicle tracking system, was how me and the police were able to locate the vehicle. We recovered the vehicle with only 2 broken windows and some used tire. I think they did some burnouts. I mean, the tires were not totally destroyed. They were good enough to keep on the car. So only about $700 worth of damage. But if a 392, a SCAT Pack, a Hellcat, a Redeye, a Demon, or whatever it may be, a TRX, a Durango is stolen, when people get their stolen cars back, it's always unfortunate, because it's not it doesn't really feel like your car anymore. It feels kind of tainted, if you know what I'm saying. But that's just my opinion. So, insurance. Obviously, this is assuming that you have some sort of coverage, whether it's full coverage. But I'm not a broker. This is just my opinion and my anecdotal experience. For me, I contacted my insurance company, which I won't name for the purpose of obvious reasons. And their policy is that I needed to wait 15 days before the car can be deemed basically actually stolen. Like they basically put a pause, or not a pause. When you call them and say, hey, it's April 10th, my Hellcat is stolen, they're going to say, okay, they get all the information they need from you to open a claim, but they can't process it to basically pay you out as a stolen vehicle until a certain number of days of waiting. I gotta sneeze. Now, this is going to be frustrating for you guys, because some insurance companies have shorter waiting periods and some have longer. After this whole experience, I have learned that my insurance company has a relatively short waiting period of about 15 days, call it 2 weeks. Whereas some other insurance companies have more of like a 4-week or a 30-day waiting period, which is a long time, especially because like if your car gets recovered after 3 or 4 weeks of being gone, I mean, it's one thing to get your car back, same day or within the week, and maybe it got driven a little bit or whatever it may be. But I mean, getting your car back after it's been gone for almost a month, I feel like it's just kind of it's just insult to injury at that point. So the insurance company is basically going to, they're going to look for the car, the police are going to look for the car, Uh, in my opinion, police are probably not doing a whole lot to find your car specifically. In my opinion, they may be working pretty hard to try to nab these criminals that are stealing the cars, but I don't think the police, which I mean, they got bigger fish to fry. You know, they want the people, they don't know, they want the cars necessarily. So, people over property. That's just my opinion. So, the police seem like they're pretty overwhelmed, at least in Dallas and in Texas, with these stolen Mopars. So I did not get a whole lot of court. I filed the police report in person, which usually you have to do. Usually you have to file the police report in person. You can't just do it with the phone. So that's another consideration. I got a call from a detective a couple days later, and that was about it. You know, when I wanted to talk to the police, I had to call them. They weren't reaching out for more information or to update me or anything like that. You know, they're busy or whatever it may be. So in my case, my vehicle was not found. You know, Uconnect's crappy system. I think Uconnect's crappy in my opinion. That's just me. Did not find the vehicle, which kind of blows my mind because I was receiving, you know, over the course of the month or so that my claim was being processed, I, you know, received some information from some people, credible, maybe not, I don't know. I gave them my case number and told them to report it to the police because in my opinion, you know, when you talk to the police, you can't say, well, this dude hit me up on social media and told me that my car might be over there. So I'm telling you, that's like playing the game of telephone and it's just leading the police down like some stupid road, right? So my logical response was when people would contact me with apparently good or apparently stupid information, I just responded to them, say, hey, here's my case number. If you feel confident about this information, you want to help me out or help just stop the criminals, then you can go ahead and call the police and say, hey, I saw this car. I believe it might be stolen. Here's the case number that the, you know, basically the owner gave me to report. Because you got to have the information needs to be linear. It can't be like, oh, this person told me, so I'm now telling you, you know, like that just doesn't work in my opinion. Like, why as a police officer would you even listen to that? Unless it was maybe like real detective work on like a much more nefarious case, right? Okay, so my case, I waited my 15 days. Then the insurance company calls me up. So they call me up, you know, late April, you know, the late 20s of April, and they say, okay, we're going to process this as a stolen vehicle, which is basically when your vehicle is stolen, they basically process it as a total loss. Except there's just no car for the insurance company to physically possess at that time, right? Now, if your car is located and at least for me, they read me a bunch of stuff and they said, hey, if during this process your car is located, it's your car, or so my car again, right? It's the vehicle that is insured is your car until they have issued payment, at least in my experience. So in order to basically make sure the claim went smoothly, I was very available for them to answer any questions, to submit any forms, to call my bank or call whoever it may be, and basically grease the wheels on the claim so that the claim just didn't get hung up forever. And then, you know, who knows what would happen. So at 2 weeks, at 15 days, my claim was carried out as a stolen vehicle. I had to pay my deductible, so I have a $1,000 deductible. And then they value your car. Now, valuing cars, especially these Mopars, might actually work in your favor because, like, for instance, mine, they compared my car to cars in Atlanta. So I received a pretty favorable valuation because the Atlanta Mopar market, obviously SCAT packs and Hellcats especially, is so hot right now. You know, you got dealerships up there selling cars for 10K over, 20K over, easy. So I got a pretty good valuation. I'm going to have to stay obscure with the numbers because maybe in subsequent videos I can get into the numbers a little bit, but we're kind of waiting for the dust to settle on this whole thing. So let's just say that my valuation I was happy with, and that part, when they come back to you with a valuation, as many of you guys know, with the total loss, they will say, hey, you know, so let's say it's a SCAT pack. Let's say the sticker price on your SCAT pack was even $50,000. If it wasn't 2020 or 2021, they'd probably come back and say, hey, your car had 10,000 miles on it and you'd had it for a year, so we're only going to give you $40,000. Right now, if it's an honest insurance company, I'm not going to say if it's not. Okay, it depends on what the insurance company uses as their comparables and how they factor in time of ownership. For me, I had only had the car for 2 months. The car had like 3,000 miles on it, so it was basically a brand new car. So they just comped it to basically slightly used Hellcat Redeyes, which are obviously selling for a lot of money. So the point is that you do not have to accept their first offer. If they come and lowball you, you can open a dialogue with them. Now, I don't have great recent firsthand experience with negotiating with insurance companies on my car price because honestly, when they came back with my offer, it was so good that I just was like, yes, let's go. Let's get this thing done because I'm done with this car. Unfortunately, the car is stolen. At this point, it's been a month. Like, I spent so much mental energy. I had to rent a car to drive all the way back from Dallas. Like, a lot of salt on the wound here. I built the whole YouTube channel around this car, so just really annoying, and I just wanted to be done with it. So it was like, okay, yep, I'm happy with the price they gave me. Let's go ahead. So at that point, they send you out the paperwork they need you to fill out. A lot of times, like power of attorney, disclaimers, anti-fraud agreements, all that stuff, right? Because they're worried about that. Stolen vehicles are kind of a hot button issue right now for many reasons, but sometimes it's because people are committing fraud or they're involved in it. Like, there's you probably any hypothetical, right? So they send you out your paperwork. Make sure you actually follow it to the T, or else it's just going to slow your claim down. At least, like, I was very, very careful. They told me to sign exactly, my name, middle initial, because that was exactly how they wanted it. It was on the title, like all of those very specific pieces of information. Send a copy of your driver's license. Make sure it's all good to go before. And like for me, they wanted me to send the keys too. So in an overnight envelope, it was my driver's license, the keys, power of attorneys. They needed one form notarized, but they didn't want other forms dated. Just follow the directions because you don't want your claim to get held up for weeks or months, and then you're stuck without a car and without the money, and you're just sitting there paying insurance on it and paying perhaps monthly payments or whatever agreement you have set up with your specific deal. So I received my payment from the insurance company, so I had some positive equity in my deal because, first of all, I bought the car very well. As you guys know, power dollars. I got about $6,000 off. Got some military money off. I got some positive equity on my trade-in, and they gave me a great valuation. So I wouldn't say benefited, but I wasn't in a scenario where I needed to use gap insurance or I needed to write a check to a lender or anything like that. So if I had done a really bad job buying the car, I might have been in a situation where I would have had to use my gap insurance or to use or just have to dip into my my savings or my investments or whatever it may be to offset the negative equity. But luckily, I had positive equity. Once they received my paperwork, they had processed it in 24 hours, whatever it may be. Your experience may vary, and then they sent me an email saying, hey, here's how you can receive your payment. They paid me and they paid the bank, and then boom, we were good to go. So it took me about 5 weeks from car stolen to no longer having a loan and also getting money from the insurance company. And then now, as soon as you get paid, or as soon as payment is issued, whether you're losing money, making money, if it happens to be dead even, as soon as the payment is dispersed, at least in my experience, that car is now the insurance company's car. So right now, when I'm making this video, it's about a week and a half later since I received payment. If my former car was found in Dallas or in Mexico or in wherever, that is technically my insurance company's car. Now, sometimes they say, hey, do you want to buy the car back from us, blah blah blah. In my case, I don't really care. Like I said, it's water under the bridge. I don't really have an interest in rebuying a stolen car that's been gone for almost 6 weeks now, unless the person who stole it did some great modifications and somehow increased the value of the vehicle. Chances are that vehicle is now worth less, and for the value that they gave me, I am not rebuying that car for that amount. So that just kind of gives you guys an idea of my kind of feelings at this time on it. So what can you expect going forward? Well, now that this whole process has finished, I'm going to be doing specific videos on kind of every single thing we talked about so that you don't have to waste like 20 or 30 minutes rewatching this video, or if I was even more lengthy and more detailed. So I'm going to make videos on how to protect your car from getting broken into, how to protect your wheels getting stolen, how to prevent whatever it may be, how to not get carjacked, what tracking devices I have used, what tracking devices people tell me, blah blah blah. Every part of this I'm going to deconstruct, and it's going to be Mopar focused. Some of them will be applicable to Corvettes or Fords or whatever it may be, but a lot of it's going to be Mopar focused because, as you guys know, it was a Hellcat that got stolen, and these are probably the most stolen cars right now. You guys can also expect a lot of C8 videos coming. There is this new exhaust that we went ahead and put on the C8. It is a purple titanium exhaust. We have new wheels on the C8 right now. We have a lot of stuff going on with the C8. So make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys hit me up in the comments below with stuff that you want me to really pinpoint on this experience. I have a lot of people who have hit me up on Instagram at Real WideBody Nation, as you guys have been looking at this whole video. And, I'm going to try to make it so that everybody is as informed as possible, because owning these cars comes with a lot of inherent risk at this point, whether you like it or not. You just can't act the same with these cars as you can with any other cars, So the Corvette is also getting twin turboed. If you guys haven't heard, if you don't follow us on Instagram, but I mean, if you've been on Instagram, you know that it's getting twin turboed. So check us out there. The S209 is back in the game, so I'll do some videos on the STI S209, and I'll do some videos on some wraps. We got a lot of stuff coming up now that the Charger is no longer with us officially. I'm gonna get back to it because hindsight is 2020. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, hit me up in the comments below with what you guys need from me. We're going to keep doing Power Dollars videos. We're going to keep doing car buying videos, but we're also focusing on mods, focusing on protection. So appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll be doing the 5,000 subscriber giveaway probably sometime this week. We're real close right now, about a little over 4,900. Appreciate you tuning in. I will see you guys at Gap Fest on June 5th in Illinois/St. Louis, Missouri. Potato. Appreciate you tuning in, and I will see you guys for the next video.